So this episode's TikTok liberal is actually a couple that's trying to raise their child or basically with no gender. Check it out.
When our child Zoomer was born in 2016, my partner Brent and I decided to raise them without assigning a gender. We didn't disclose their reproductive anatomy to people who didn't need to know. We used the gender-neutral pronouns they, them, their until Zoomer could tell us what pronouns fit best, and we taught Zoomer about bodies, gender, identity, and expression in an expansive and inclusive way. We wanted to hold space for the possibility that Zoomer could be intersex, transgender, or non-binary, and we were committed to protecting them from experiencing sexism in early childhood. Zoomer wore all the clothes, played with all the toys, and got to experience a childhood free of gender stereotypes. Around Zoomer's 4th birthday, he told us that he's a boy and that he loves he/him pronouns. Zoomer knows who he is and understands that gender is not binary and that his body doesn't define his destiny. We call this gender creative parenting, and there's resources and an amazing community waiting for you if you want to learn more.
You know, before I get into the other stuff, I mean, honestly, the real tragedy here is that they named their child Zoomer. Zoomer? Guys, what are you thinking? Okay, please explain to me. What in the world are you thinking by naming your child this? I mean, Zoomer is a dog's name, not a child's name. You know what? But I'm really not surprised because it's people like this that treat their children like their dogs. They're nothing but an accessory to their lives to enrich their wokeness and put all of that on them to align with them. That's what it is. Children aren't actually children of independent thought. They're children of the actual properties of these crazy parents' woke liberalism. That's what this is. Make no mistake about that. So it's not surprising when you see these parents naming their child these ridiculous things and doing this. But of course, this whole thing is ridiculous. Being woke about no gender and everything like that is all just insane. Already insane. But let's look at the facts here. If that child at any given point in time goes to a doctor's office, guess what they're going to do? Guess what they're going to do, woke parents that have a child with no gender? They're going to put a gender on him. It doesn't matter what you do. They're going to put a gender on that child based off of anatomy. It doesn't matter that you say, well, you know, they don't have a gender yet. You can say that all you want. It's not going to change the facts that are actually there. Every medical book in history, until they change it, keep your eyes out for that. It's going to happen. But until they change it, every medical book in history has the absolute gender of your child right there. So I don't care. Hwhat's going to happen when that child hits puberty? What happens then? What are you going to explain to him at that point? Oh, well, actually, you're not actually really this gender. How's that going to work? You think that those kids aren't going to hate their parents for doing this to them at some point later in life? You bet that they are. Bet you that won't make the news when they, are extremely mad at their parents for putting them through this type of stuff as a child, lying to them their entire lives. When these kids get older, they're going to be like, what in the world were you thinking? That's why it's basically child abuse. I mean, because they're going to grow up being like, I was abused as a child by being told I was something I'm not. But not having structure in my life. But everything these parents are doing in that video, to me, is really about them trying to get attention. That's what this is about. I've reported on the other TikTok liberals that are trying to get attention, but these parents are trying to get attention. Makes you honestly wonder, would they really be talking about all of this, naming their child this, doing this no gender thing, if they couldn't post it on TikTok, if they couldn't put it out in front of the world? Would they really still have those beliefs right then? I'm curious to find out, because I don't think that would probably be the case. Because by this same logic, by the way, I could easily just say, you know what? My kid thinks that they can fly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take them to the roof, and I'm going to go ahead and set them free off the roof, and, I'll report back and let you know how it went. By the same logic, that makes sense. And we know that that's crazy. And I'm going to treat this just as crazy as that is. Kids need structure. They need discipline. They need authority in their lives. When you take that away and tell them, do what you want to do, they're not going to have, or they're not going to live a great life. That's just not going to happen. Especially when they get older and recognize what's going on. Most kids, you leave them alone, especially at that age, and they'll just die. They don't know how to cook food. They don't know how to take care of themselves. And yet you're going to let them choose their gender. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's just absolutely ridiculous when you see the way that these parents are doing this. And the fact is, like I said, if anybody is disagreeing with what I'm saying here, you're in for a rude awakening when you have kids, because I'm telling you right now, without some type of structure and authority, you're basically leaving it up to them to figure out how they're going to screw themselves up. And at the end of the day, this is the parents' fault because they should be the authority and they're refusing to do their jobs on purpose for TikTok in the name of woke liberalism. And I have a massive problem with that. You just watched a clip from The William Hall Show. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe.